what's up? So, Rebel Ridge. This movie is an interesting movie because it's not what the trailer is selling. And that might be a problem, actually. Okay, if I was to give this movie out of 5, I would give this a 3. Think of it this way. This movie is Rambo. Rambo 1, First Blood, the first Rambo movie. But then you substitute the action with drama, suspense, and crime. It's a really good movie, but it's not a perfect movie. Number 1, Aaron Pierre as the lead. Very, very interesting character. You know why? Because every time you see a huge character, a physically present character, a character who has the physicality, you don't actually really think about the performances. The Arnold Schwarzeneggers, the Rocks, you don't look at them like good performance. But this Aaron Pierre is actually very, very impressive. He's a very good performer. In fact, there are some few comedic moments in the movie that work very well because of his delivery, his timing, and the way he's able to actually sell that character and some of the situations. Even some, you know, when it comes to dramatic performances, these more action-oriented in terms of physicality, actors don't really have that performing touch to them. But this guy, this Aaron Pierre, he has the touch. He can really perform, and he's so believable that by the first 20 minutes, 10 minutes, you are with him. You are rooting for him because he's able to convince you about what he wants. Mostly not with the physicality, but with his performance, with his timing, and with his delivery. So as I've just said, by the first 5 minutes, you know what the movie is about, and yeah, the movie makes you hate the bad guys, which are the cops, and makes you really empathize with this character, played by Aaron Pierre. Now, generally, that's one thing that the movie does very well. It makes you understand some situations very well. There are some things that it doesn't do well at the end, but during the beginning, you kind of know what everything, you kind of understand the moving parts. They make you understand why he needs to get that bail, where he needs to get that bail. So the director does a good job of making you understand, especially that Mike arc, that story about Mike, the cousin. He does a very good job of making you understand why it's important, and makes you understand why this character played by Aaron actually needs to get that bail. Now, apart from that, yeah, it's shot very well. The suspense is the other thing that I really like, because the movie just keeps you on toes when some things are happening. There's a scene in the police station, what you call police precinct, that it's very suspenseful because you don't know what's going to happen next. Because he's doing some things and you're like on your edge because you don't know what's going to happen. So those work very well. The final action set piece, while not like a super big action set piece, actually works for the movie, for the kind of movie that it is. And yeah, that, apart from Aaron's performance, it's an okay movie in terms of an action movie because of that action set piece. But generally, it's okay. Now, when it comes to the reason that I did not give it like a 4 or a 5 out of 5, and number 1 was that it's a bit convoluted. There are too many things that are happening. Number 1, you have Mike's arc where this guy has to get bail in order to get Mike out. And then within that arc, there's another story with the money, with what's happening with the money. And then you start learning things about the precinct. So when you're learning all these things, it's during maybe the first and second act. But then after that, something happens that changes everything. And the movie feels like it has come to a conclusion whereby the character kind of leaves. And you're very clear and you know that that's like a definitive ending. And then it goes now into a different character. There's a female character called Summer. You go into her own story now for the second part. And then within that story, there are other things that are introduced. There's a MacGuffin that is introduced. There are MacGuffins that are introduced, but they're destroyed. Then after that, there is now the final action set piece where they have to do something in order to get something. And then they do that, and then the movie ends with the main actor holding that something. So it's kind of convoluted. Even learning about why that money was necessary for the precinct, that was a bit jumbled up. I thought it was a bit, it was too much. I wish it would have been leaner. I wish it would have been more focused on one thing, especially that opening motivation I wish they would have just stayed with that and gone with that up to the end, because at the end I felt that there were so many, even with Summer, there's just so many things happening with her that you kind of forget what the original motivation and story was, because it gets to a point where now it's all about her. It's all about what these things she's going through, and it's all about her trying to get to something else. And then within that, you learn that they need to get that thing in order to prove those people. It just got a bit busy, too busy. But I would say that, yeah, this movie is fun. If you love suspense thrillers, if you love crime movies, if you're going for the action, what the trailer actually promised, you are going to be disappointed. Apart from that, yeah, Aaron Pierre, very, very impressive. This actor is he's very present, and is actually a very, very good actor in terms of delivery and performances. So basically that's it. Rebel Ridge is on Netflix. And yeah, if you get the time, you can give it a watch. If you watched it, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? And basically that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. I shall see you on the next one. Adios.